Hi everyone, welcome to Build in Public and Demo in Public with Newly. Today we're super excited to have Tina. So she has been working and building her app for some months. Finally, actually 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, she published her first app to App Store and she has some paid users as well. So super excited to have you here, Tina. Can you please tell us more about yourself, like who you are, what do you do? Yeah, just get to know you more.
Wonderful. Yes, I'd love to. So my name is Tina, and I'm currently living in San Diego. I've had a somatic bodywork practice for about 10 years. Before that, I was more of a earth scientist working with sea turtles in Greece and in the Pacific Islands. I've always been fascinated by the human body and the connection between the mind and the body. And currently, I am kind of taking a bit of leave from the somatic work and found app building, which is so much fun. But I wasn't able to find the app that I needed, which was a connection between spirituality and like the physicality of the body.
Okay, Tina. Yeah, maybe like can tell us about how did you end up in the world of apps and kind of like actually what was the moment which you thought that actually you can build this app and you start looking for a solution to build this.
Absolutely. I have been using apps for a long time, but um, I wasn't able to find what I actually needed, which was the combination, the Christian, like spiritual aspect with the therapy, like companion. So I had one app that I would use that was like a companion app, and it was great, but it was always like the responses always felt like there was a piece missing. And then I had the Christian, like spiritual app that I would use every single day for prayer and meditation, but it didn't have that like therapy companion aspect of it. It was just kind of generalized for everybody. It wasn't specifically coordinated for what I was going through personally. And I just was like listening to this podcast one day and somebody was talking about how if you want to do something with AI, now is the time because it's so easy. And I thought, well, I'm going to try this. And so I started out doing it with a web-based app. And then I found Newly, which was like opened up like a whole new world for me. And I literally stayed the night I found Newly. I found it at like 9 o'clock at night. I stayed up till like 4 in the morning building the app because it was so much fun. I was so excited, and I just like could not put it down.
That's nice. That's nice. Maybe you can kind of tell and pitch us the idea of Lenin, like what it is, and how actually, kind of like why did you build it? Yeah.
Okay, so I built Linen again to fulfill a need that I personally needed. It has really two main aspects to it, along with a community. So the first thing is the companion, which is an AI companion, but you can completely coordinate how it talks to you or how, like, the directness that it gives you, the archetype that it is, whether or not it's a therapist or a pastor or a friend or a mother. Um, and you can just basically go through whatever you're dealing with that day with the companion, and it saves everything for you so that it remembers the conversations that you've had so that it can tailor them to you the next time. The second part of the app is a daily gift, which includes a short somatic exercise that usually takes like 30 seconds to a minute just to ground yourself and get back into your body. And then it has a scripture that goes along with that somatic exercise along the calendar of the liturgical church. So when it's Easter, it's based around like what's going on in that historical time of Easter, when it's Lent, and so on. And then there's a reflection part where you can answer a question based on like what the scripture, how it makes you feel, or what you think about that. And then the final piece is the community, which is a supportive community that you can choose to participate with as much or as little as you want. But it's just kind of like giving your reflections and your bits of wisdom that you're getting to support others.
That's super nice. Okay, Tina. So I downloaded the app, and actually, let's kind of if you can walk us through the app, that will be amazing. So actually, we couldn't connect our phone to like show you the app, so I just kind of like downloaded the app for the Mac. It's not optimized for the Mac.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So the check-in portion would be what I would use mostly as the user. So if you can click on that, then you'll see this is where you can chat with your companion. And so anything from like my kid said this morning, how do I respond? Or I'm just feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. Like whatever it is that's on your mind at the time, you can just, put that in and the AI companion will respond. And its response is what did you put in? I can't see.
So I put like, I'm doing good today because I'm doing a live demo with Tina. Then the answer is here.
So it's supporting you in that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And it's helping, it's connecting the feeling to the experience, which is what it's supposed to be doing. So it's coming from the perspective of putting your feelings with your thoughts, but also having that scriptural base behind it. But the beauty of this companion that I'm so excited about is that there's actually a profile where you can customize how it responds to you. You can decide how direct it is. You can decide how much scripture, whether or not it includes any scripture or it includes scripture in every single time it talks to you. And then how its perspective as far as like whether or not it's talking to you like a pastor or a teacher or a friend. So you can really build who you want in that companion. So that's the check-in. And then the next part would be the open your gift, which is really fun because then you get to actually open a gift, which is very nice. And so you can see at the top, it has the theme of the week, which does go along with the liturgical calendar. So right now we're in the wilderness. And then so I see you're scrolling down. So this green dot here is it's going to eventually show you your scripture, but you're supposed to start out at the top of the page. So it's basically helping people do the process in the order that it's meant to be done. So the first one is the somatic invitation, and you can choose to do that or not. So go ahead and click begin. Okay, so now it's telling you for a minute it's saying to allow your feet to touch the floor, and feeling the ground beneath you, noticing the weight of your body. So it's asking you to check in with your body, slow down, um, take a breath, and it's basically helping you with that. And if you complete it, there's a celebration that happens. And if you want to move on, you can just click continue.
Let's wait for the celebration.
You want to
I'm
wait for the
actually doing it.
celebration? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let's wait for the celebration. Celebration is awesome because whenever you do something like this, you should celebrate it because it's very rare that we take a moment in our day to really be present and connect with our bodies. So this is the and it leads to better nervous system regulation and being able to read scripture more clearly once you've regulated your nervous system. There's the celebration.
This is cool.
Yeah, and so then after you've done that, and it's different every day, the somatic, it's imaginative and bodily, but it'll be different every day. And then you get the scripture, and along with the scripture, underneath the scripture, there's a question that you can reflect on. Once you've done that, if you want to, you can type a response, and that response will then be saved in your threads, which is like your journey. It'll be saved for you. You can also choose to share it with the community or keep it to yourself. And then we also have like emotion bubbles if you want to track your emotions over time. Sometimes it's really hard to put our thoughts into words, but so if you don't want to do a reflection, you can just click a couple buttons and that will show you your patterns over time if you want to know your patterns. And then at the bottom here, this is just like a little extra for anybody that wants extra breathing techniques. These are tried and true, tested breathing techniques that help for nervous system regulation. Whether or not you want to calm down or you want to pump yourself up before a meeting, whatever it is, these different breathing techniques will help you with that. And then this is just our community page. So like you can share anonymously or you can share with your name, and then people can either send you care, which is everything is, if you decide to send care, so click the send care and you can see like it's all put in for you. So no one has to think of what they're going to say and there'll be no negativity shared. This is a calm, healing space, and we will not have any negativity entering into our space. It's a safe space. So that's the community. You can, if you're chatting with the AI and the companion says something that's like brilliant, that just blows your mind, you can share that with the community as well. Because a lot of times knowledge and wisdom is so universal. So if you can share it, you're helping other people with that. And that's pretty much it. I think the coolest, one of the coolest things I think about the app is on the profile page. Can we show that real quick? So if you go to the
Yeah.
profile, so if you
How
click
to go there?
the back arrow at the top left, there's like the little back arrow. You see it? White. Scroll down a tiny bit.
Let me bring it back, okay?
Okay. Yeah, it's like at the top. Oh, that works too. Okay, so if you go to, oh, you know why it's not showing the profile? Because it's like a little icon at the bottom.
Maybe here, and then I can, oh, community. Oh,
The profile would be on the phone. That's why it's not showing you the profile. Because like, it's one of the icons at the bottom of the phone. That's why it's not showing it. So like, that's okay.
okay.
It would be something that somebody would have access to if they were using their phone.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, Tina. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Also, like, this is not optimized for Mac, but we just kind of walk you through, and I hope
Right.
that like you can actually go and find it in the App Store
Show the heart threads.
here.
No, so go back to the main page. Is there not an arrow to go back?
Okay, let me do it again.
That might be something that needs to be edited.
No, but also like it's kind of like for the Mac, so it's not optimized, you know.
Oh, okay. Huh. It really wants you to be in the community. Well, it's fine. Don't worry.
But okay, so yeah, I hope like you just go and search like Lenin on the App Store, and then actually you can download it. But also like we're waiting for the app to be released on the Play Store, and that's also coming, hopefully very soon. Like Tina is working on that. So yeah, by the launch of by like the release of this video, I hope you can also see the app in the Play Store. So go download it, try it, give a feedback, but also don't give a one star rating if you're not actually testing the app, because someone did it 1 star and now it doesn't change. So I mean, just please be nice. I think this is a huge step for Tina to, build something. I think that building this alone is a huge, respect to Tina. And of course, like she's like, getting the feedback and then changing things, based on how you guys want. But just being a bit nice, and then yeah, don't put 1 star if you
I don't think
would
that
like.
person ever used the app. I think that was somebody on Reddit that just got angry about maybe
Exactly.
something that happened in their past, and the fact that it was a Christian app was triggering. I don't think
Yeah.
they used the app.
Tina, kind of my question is that how has been the journey of finding users for this app? Like, what did you do to get the first people downloaded, and also like what are you doing now to actually get people to use this app?
Okay. I originally started when I was building the app on the web base. I did a pilot program with the ladies at my church here in San Diego. And that was really wonderful because they were able to type inside the app what things that they wanted to suggest or if they were having any problems. And so I could change and modify whatever needed to be done. And then since the app's been out, I've just been talking about it on social media and to my friends and looking for like-minded individuals that could use something like this. It is kind of a niche market because the app is for people that want both spirituality and mind-body somatic connection. So it's not something that I could just post anywhere and people would respond to.
And how have been the feedbacks so far? Are they negative, positive, or like are there something that people would like to see?
So far, people that have been trying it have commented mostly on the somatic aspect of it. So one of the things that I showed you was the daily gift, and it has a daily somatic exercise. And it's not really an exercise. It's more like, something that's usually relaxing, but it's just called an exercise. But that's what most people are intrigued by, because I think in general, we very rarely just stop and connect with our bodies for a moment throughout the day. So something like that really does make a large impact. So that's the one thing that people have really enjoyed. As far as negative feedback, I haven't really heard any negative feedback other than the one on Reddit. But I'm not sure that person even looked at the app. I think they just got upset about it being a Christian app, which is understandable. And in making this app, I know that it can be controversial because religion can be incredibly triggering for people, especially like people that have had experiences with the church that have been traumatic or hurtful. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this app, because maybe someone doesn't want to go to church because it's a place of trauma for them, but they do want to have a relationship with God. And so using this app, you can actually have, it deepens your relationship with yourself along with your relationship with God, and you don't need to go to a physical place to do that.
And kind of, do you see that you will be actually working on this app and having the second, the third version of it, and kind of more expanding the app, or are you kind of actually looking to build a second and third app, which complete this app in a bit?
Well, because I love building the actual creative process of building the apps, I've already started building 2 other apps, and they're similar but different. They're spiritual, but they look at different aspects. And I do continuously go back and look at Linen, and do plan on it's a live thing to me. So I'll always be adding and modifying based on user feedback, and also based on like growing as a app developer and learning about how I can make the user experience better. But one thing that I know I need to focus on is just kind of staying put, because when I get an idea for a new app, I want to finish it. And so that, it's nice. That's good, but it's also good to stay with Linen and keep it like modifying it so that it gets better and better.
Do you have somehow kind of plan to make money with these apps, or is it just more out of passion and then you just build them and like you will see if it works or not? So like, what's the money part here?
What's the money part? Well, I mean, money is always nice. It's always nice to be able to support yourself with something that you enjoy doing. Money has never been my main motivation with anything that I've done. I mean, I was like living on an island without running water for 2 years to help protect sea turtles. So it's never been like, oh, I want lots of money. But, I do have a family, and I would love to, mainly just be able to say that I can do this successfully and it's not a hobby. And I guess one of the checkbox that I would tick off would be that I could make a decent amount of money so that it at least pays for itself, because there's all the things that you have to, like the AI and the subscriptions that it takes to even keep the app alive.
Yeah, I think kind of like to keep building, you actually need like the money to be there so that it can actually keep building and like kind of like make these apps available to all. And yeah, just kind of like like to have it them more self-sustained. And that's kind of the idea. But also kind of like something that like we have been talking a lot. Like you're a mom of three, so how it's building like while being a mom. Because I remember like you have been vibe coding and finding time to actually skip the kids and then go build it early mornings or late evenings. So how did you actually manage to do both? And what's like your experience so far?
Sure. I almost always have a child on my lap while I'm building. So that's just become a staple. Like they're just used to having the computer on my lap. But I try to do it at bedtime and naps if I can. And then, it is really a joy for me to build. It's a creative aspect of it. So it's a balance between being present with the kids and, baseball practice and jujitsu and theater and all the things that we're doing for them, and then building the app when there's time. But that's the beauty of being able to do it on the computer, that I can do it at 4 a.m. when I wake up and get excited about building.
How has been like your learning journey? Do you know coding, or kind of like how did you actually like build the confidence that you can build the app, and also like you have gone through the app store, like rejections, mission, and all these things. Like, how was this whole journey and like learning path here?
I know nothing. I don't know any coding, and as you know, I'm terrible with technology. I'm a people person. I'm used to having a person come to my office and we sit down and we talk. I don't have to sign into anything, or so that's been a struggle, really. Honestly, that's been the biggest struggle. But luckily I'm incredibly stubborn and I don't give up. So I just have used anything that I could do to try to figure out how to overcome different technological issues, including you regularly, and along with the entire team of Newly. That's how I have done it, because the Apple rejections, asking AI, like, what is this? What is it saying? How do I fix this? And then just following everything that it says and doing it over and over and over again until I got the confirmation. But the interesting thing with Apple and Linen is they approved it the very first time I submitted it. which I think was a mistake because it had so many errors. I don't know how that, I think that must have been an act of God because it went through and I was like, whoa, I did not expect it to go through on the first try. I expected a rejection, but that was incredible. And then after that, then they started finding when I submitted that because we realized that the paywall wasn't even working. No one could pay for the app or get into it. But then, yeah, then after that, that's when I got more rejections. But I had already been approved. So I already had that little carrot, dangling that I knew like I can actually do this. It was really nice that it got approved the first time.
But do you somehow see that like the confidence in yourself and the trust in yourself have increased by having the first app out there and kind of like is there some different feeling before like first days of Tina vibe coding and now? So how have you changed in terms of believing in yourself or confidence or overall like yeah.
I think I went into it very confident, like kind of that like sophomoric energy of not even realizing how inadequate you are, but just being so excited about the idea of creating it. And then once I started doing it and really running into all the struggles, that's when my confidence went down. And so during the process, I lost confidence and wanted to stop and give up. But there was just something in me that there's just something in me that does not let me allow me to give up. So I just kept going. And now that it's in the App Store and I'm creating my second and my third one, I know that it's possible. I know how to do it. And I'm learning how to do it more easily and not using support as nearly as much now. Learning the way that the AI works is important. I would like to learn some coding just so that I can look at it and know what I'm looking at. But the more I do it, the more I learn the functions of like even just what like the functions of Newly of what I can do to check things and look at things and make sure everything's going to come out the way that I'm intending it to.
And did you have some moments of doubts where you actually were thinking that okay maybe this is not real, this like vibe coding is BS, like this doesn't actually work and I'm just kind of I fall for this and then I'm just stuck there. So I should just stop building. So did you have these moments?
Of course. Yes. I mean, because every AI system is different. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between it, but then there's also like they have their own personalities. And like ChatGTP is so different from Newly's AI, which I was also using in the beginning. I was using another AI to build a website called Mocha, and that AI personality is so different from Newly's. And so when I would try to communicate in the same ways, the output was very frustrating. And I've also learned too that like a lot of times it gets into like this loop where it's just not going to figure out what you're trying to say. Even if you're saying like this needs to be yellow, it's blue right now. It'll come back with, okay, we made it yellow. Success, it's yellow now. And it's still blue. And it's just like nothing that you say after that point is going to work. So I mean, from my experience, I've learned to just leave it alone, rest, take a step back for everybody's well-being, and then come back later. And it doesn't remember that it needs to know that it needs to change it to blue, so you can start fresh. So it's just little things like that that I've learned along the way have made this more of a kind of a smooth process, where in the beginning I was like having these full out like discussions with the AI to try to make it understand, in which it just does. It's like in my experience is that doesn't work.
It's nice. So even AI needs a break, because it gets tired and then just like give him some rest and then he or she comes back and then can actually does the blue or the yellow color
Yeah,
correctly.
it gets tired and it gets so confused that it's like stacks the layers of confusion on itself, and then it just starts to like kind of shut down, I guess, just like a toddler brain. So just like stop, pause, come back the next day, things are better.
Yeah, because I mean, why I ask is because I mean, overall, everyone like wants to build something, make money and like have their own apps and all these things, and it sounds very fancy from the outside. But to be honest, you cannot build the app in one day. You can actually build the first version of it, like you can build it and then test it out for yourself. But to build something, ready for others to use and actually also publish to App Store, you might need to spend weeks or months. So my next question is that how many months did you spend on building this or weeks?
I started building in mid-January, and so it took 4 months from the date that I started with Newly to getting it in the app store. So yeah, I mean, you can build the app logistically in one day, but as far as how it's going to interact with the user and making sure that it's intelligent enough to keep up with what the human user is asking, that takes practice. So that's why I did the 3-month pilot with the ladies at church, because then it was getting like I was getting real feedback about how it was responding when people are actually interacting with it. That's the biggest thing, because if it's, you know, AI is really capable at making beautiful looking pages right now, but it doesn't always do the human aspect so
Yeah,
well. So that's why every app before it gets into that Apple store, it really needs to be used for a period of time just to see how it's reacting to certain things. Because sometimes it'll react. Just yesterday, I'm building an app that's a spiritual dream interpretation app, and it's super, super awesome. And you can you can talk to it in the middle of the night if you don't want to type, or you can type, and then it gives you all this amazing reflection information. But I tried one dream out. Somebody told me this dream. They said they had a dream where they murdered somebody, which is interesting because I've actually heard that several times while I'm making this app from my friends. They're like, "Oh yeah, I had this dream that I murdered somebody, but I didn't bury the body deep enough. So I was like so worried it was going to get caught and like all these details. And like, oh my gosh." So I tried that. I'm like, I put that in and the AI generated this whole reflection, but not a single time did it mention murder or killing or
sure.
anger or repression or anything like that. It was just like this very generic. And I'm like, this is not working right. And so I go through this whole process to fix it, but I don't fix it. And then I tried the exact same prompt again, same words, everything, and it responded perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah,
And so I honestly don't even know what happened there, but that just that kind of thing, just like you have to catch those things before it
yeah,
goes to the app store. Otherwise, people like the first time they put something that's valuable and meaning to in the app and it does that, they're going to lose total trust in the app. So it
yeah.
has to be fixed before it goes to the app store. That's a major thing. Even though the app is gorgeous from the outside, it's just not working correctly. So it does take time.
So my last question is that what's your tips for other moms that they have an idea and they don't know anything about mobile app building, but they have some ideas, maybe for themselves, maybe for their kids, maybe for the society. So like, what's your one tip about building or kind of what they should do with their idea if they have one sitting there?
Yeah, my biggest tip would be because moms are brilliant. We're always doing like 5 things at once and taking care of everybody else's needs. They are constantly coming up with good ideas, but who has the time to implement them because we're too busy, taking care of everybody else. To do it would be my tip. And to do it with the right company, because like I said, I started out with one company and it was incredibly frustrating, and I got nowhere. And then when I came to Newly and I was struggling, I had like the best support ever. I've never had this kind of support ever. And I owned a business for like 10 years where I was interfacing with all sorts of customer service agents and chats and all of that. The support team on Newly was incredible. I mean, it's amazing. So even if you know absolutely nothing about coding, but you have a really good idea, just try it out and see what you get. Just putting in like an hour of your time to see what happens, and then um, yeah, just keep trying. Just keep trying it. Everybody that I've talked to that isn't in the tech world, which is most people, they say, "Gosh, I could never do that." And I'm like, "Okay, if I can do it, you can do it." Honestly, like it's if I can do something technological, then anybody can do something. I mean, it's so just getting started and trying it, and just I think as soon as you try it, you'll see that it just happens. So the first part is very rewarding because you literally see something instantaneously the AI is created for you. So that's a really good measure of starting out.
Yeah, that's true. I think my only tip is that if they have any idea, just go build it, no matter with what tool. I think all tools are great, and I think they have, as you say, like they have all their personalities. But just go build. I think kind of like building it is so important, and you kind of like you have to like choose the right tool. Like it's up to you. But I think that taking the action to build it is just so much learning and it's so much like satisfying, to be honest. And so I wish them all the best, and I hope I mean, as you said, all the moms are great, and I hope and they have the best ideas, so they just go build them, and then we will like use those apps. So thank you so much for showing up, but also for the demo on the chat.
My pleasure. This was
Thank you so much.
fun.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.